Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the EXFL T1 Season 13 Mexican Grand Prix. We start the stream with 8 minutes on the clock. As you can see, Jaden on provisional pole with JJ in second, just over 2 tenths behind. With Naris in third after looking for another solid qualifying session after his comeback last week. Stelios in fourth, GFO 3-4, then Frankie in fifth, Uri in sixth, Redfire Tiger in seventh, Danny in eighth, obviously now out of the title race. In ninth, Turbo, and you know, there's 10 drivers once again. Jaden on another flying lap. Obviously, JJ might be starting his lap again, coming off his third straight EXFL Tier 1 title last week in Kota. However, we will focus with Jaden on his flying lap through the turn 1, 2, 3 sequence. It's right, then left, then right. And now into turn 4, which is another left-handed 90-degree, barely up, barely down in turn 1, just under just a 10th loss. Through a little left-right section for the triangle corner, as I like to call it, into the Mexican S's now. Well, can he find the time to go positive through the lefts and rights, and then the rights and lefts? Make sure don't invalidate on the exit of this corner. DRS wide open down into the stadium section. It's marginally down in sector 2, but just under a little bit down from what he was in sector 1. So I don't think Jaden will see an improvement. Let's go on to JJ, up in the first sector, up in the middle sector. So currently he's gonna fall just behind Jaden. Jaden goes even faster by 3 thousandths of a second, 140.333. Can JJ do anything to match that? He's currently 0.142 tenths up in the middle sector, up to the line. Where can JJ go? JJ only gains 0.088 seconds. But what can Naris do? Naris has actually got purple middle sector. Can he challenge, go even closer to the top 2? Up to the line. Where does Naris go? Naris only 300ths off provisional pole right now. That's a stellar lap from the Haas, from a team that's been absolutely nowhere this whole year. As I think Redfire Tiger will be the next to cross the line, or he'll be starting a lap, I think. Next person to actually cross the line to start a lap or finish a lap will be Frankie, I think. Up in the first sector, 0.116 gain. Into the middle sector now. A further gain, purple in the middle sector according to the time map. Through the Faro del Sol, make sure you don't lock up into here. Flick the wheel left, then try and let it run right. Don't bottom out on that curb. Don't bottom out on this curb either. Now up to the line. Where can Frankie go? He's currently 6 tenths behind provisional pole. Where can he jump up to? It's a halving of the time difference, but it's P4 for the Aston Martin. Next person to cross the line for and lap, I think, will be no one. So everyone who has done a lap is now not on a lap. 5 minutes to go. JJ Naris, Jaden Naris, JJ is your top 3. Because obviously I need to make this all about myself. I had my second GCSE exam today, and it was honestly, someone at AQA is generally got bipolar disorder. The German paper yesterday was quite nice. I mean, one of them was nice. And then the sociology paper, even though I'm stupid, that was a nice paper. I just ran out of time. So, you know, probably won't be passing sociology, but oh well. And with 4 minutes to go. Everyone either making their way into the pit lane or already in said pit lane. just send over the link for the stream. Share link. What? Hey, you're not even on Twink. Arriba. Bible. Anyway, I can hear engines getting fired up, and that is the Sauber who will be the first to leave the garage. I think that'll be Stelios, and then behind him I can see the Haas. So both GFOs as the first two out. Then you can see JJ's mechanic getting ready. In the background you can see a Red Bull and a Williams getting ready. Oh, actually that was a V-carb, that was me being thick. So most drivers around the 2-minute mark making their appearances on the track. Jaden now on the... So far the only people not on laps will be Red Fire Tiger and Turbo yet again. As no, Red Fire Tiger is out for a lap, so that leaves Turbo in the pit lane by himself again. Will the V-carb? I think it might be a little bit too late for him. As yeah, people are making way for their lap, so we'll follow Stelios for his first lap. Anyway, Stelios now starts the first final flying lap of the Mexican Grand Prix down into turn 1. It's a sharp braking zone into a right-hander, which is followed immediately by a left-hander. It's a 90-90-90, followed by another 90 down into turn 4. DRS wide open again. Where can the Sauber look himself in sector 1? It is a marginal loss. I think it's 0.012 of a second. So, you know, a bit of time to gain in this middle sector. Obviously, in order for him to even jump position, he needs to gain over 1.5 tenths of a second. Which, you know, could be quite difficult to fork out at a track like this, considering it's mostly straight line. But, you know, make sure you don't invalidate on the exit. Very close to invalidation there for Stelios. Now, into the parallel, so he is up marginally. He does clip the curb a bit too much on the entry. Now, what can he do? Can he go any further? Can he improve on that 6th place that he sits in right now? Or anything up to the line? Stelios can improve his time, but he can't improve position. So Stelios will start 6th at best. Next person to cross the line will be Vnaris, who is currently 2nd. Where can Vnaris go? He is currently provisional pole for Vnaris by 0.048 of a second. Next to cross the line will be JJ. Where can JJ go? JJ goes pole by over 1.2 seconds. Can JJ do anything to stop the fun there? Whilst we missed it, Uri and a few people... Danny crossed the line. Danny went 3rd. Can Jaden spoil the party for the Williams? Can he go up to the line? Oh, and he saps a K. So it won't be pole position for the Williams. But can Red Fire Tiger is currently up in the middle sector, but I think it might be a little bit too much to distract pole. He can't get pole, so once again it is JJ on pole, then Naris with another stellar qualifying session, then Danny, Jaden who gave up across the line, slamming into the pit wall, Frankie in 5th, Red in 6th after a 4/10 gain in the final sector, Stelios in 7th, Uri in 8th, and Turbo who has not set a lap. Oh child. Why am I singing that? Such a gimpy song. Okay, I can't. Fucking hell. Right. No one really pushing to start the formation lap. Anyway, don't know why I care about the formation lap, but you can see the weather there. It'll be a little bit wet come the end of the race, however, shouldn't really be much of an issue. I should try and probably center the wheel so that I don't get absolutely molested off the start. People are generally not aware about the world record pace they're about to see of my flying lap right now. Into turn 1. Make sure to not hit the wall. Chase up.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
And now
Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Anyway, so we have 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix, and I'm lined up like a torpedo. And it's go, go, go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Oh my dear God. Okay, we've had calamity into turn 1 and James leads again. Stop the count, I'm in P5. Stop the count. Ah, bastard. Anyway, I'm going to have to let people by, aren't I? Yes, be happy, you've got all your places back, you gimps. And, well, the pack has been separated again. What a surprise. As, I will make my way into the pit lane so I can continue commenting the shit show. As, I think Naris is sending it down the inside of the stadium section for P8 against an AI'd turbo. As we now retire from the session and we begin lap 2 of commentating. Oi. Here we are, JJ in the lead, Stelios in second, Red Fire Tiger in third after a bit of a calamitous turn 1 where a few drivers decide to go fidget spinning. So yeah, and no cars really anywhere near each other. They're all kind of in an orderly fashion. As you can see at the end of lap 2. The biggest gain is obviously Stelios, who started 7th and is already in 2nd. And the biggest loss is Naris, who was in 2nd and is now in 8th. As JJ sets another fastest lap. As we might see a fight here, Uri and Red Fire Tiger, and before you know it, Uri's past Red Fire Tiger. And that is the recarb into P3 as Danny gets past Jaden into before even turn 1. So that is the Red Bull up into 5th. Frankie, slightly close, but now he's getting pulled away. As the drivers will now be settling into the long haul. 34 laps to go around this amazing circuit. Actually, it would be 33. So we are 33 laps to go. There's no one really lining up any overtakes. I mean, Frankie's burning the battery 350 kilometers an hour to try and close up to Jaden in the slipstream. It's all unveiled. As welcome back to Queuing Simulator, I guess. Actually, I realised there are actually permutations tonight, which, you know, might be interesting to read out. As I do notice a lot of drivers are dipping their front left tyre into the grass a decent chunk of the time. I don't know if that's like apparently some hidden grip hack for these drivers, but I don't know. Let me just pull up the permutations. So Williams can become triple EXFL Tier 1 World Champions if Red Bull do not outscore them by 14 points or more, or if McLaren do not outscore them by 30 points or more. Well, whoop-de-doo. McLaren can only score 25 points today, so that immediately says McLaren are out of the fight. Right now, Red Bull are losing 15 points to Williams. 14 actually, because I exist. So yeah, Williams can also become triple Tier 1 Constructors Champions. But according to people, a Constructors Championship is not a real championship, because apparently blah blah blah, so much stupid about, oh, it's not a Drivers' Championship. Yeah, no. Not targeted, by the way. As, you know, I feel we're going to see a lot of orderly cues, you know. You see, again, Uri dipping his front left. Jaden tripping it. You can see many drivers dipping their front left tyre into the grass at that one specific point. But can we just pay attention to... Actually, we can't pay attention to that. I'm just looking for any interesting things to spectate on, really. Just spamming the same button all over again, hoping something happens. That's kind of cool, I guess. Looks a bit trippy. Oh, as we have a pit up. Naris is in the pit lane. Is he calling it quits? Or is it the end of the medium tyre? I think it's the end of the medium tyre for Naris. Oh, yeah, so Hard's bolted onto the Haas. There's, oh, we have. Oh, here we go. Jaden around. Danny around the outside of Jaden. Bit of contact between the McLaren and the Red Bull. And Danny back up into 5th after being momentarily 6th. We've got a three-way fight here, technically. Frankie, Jaden, and Danny. Apart from that, nothing really happening, but we have a bit of a close-ish thing here. Uri and Red Fire Tiger, closest drivers to each other by far. As we are 1 second into the race, and Red Fire Tiger's trying anything to try and get past the V car with Uri, who has stated that he hasn't touched the game in a while. And he's going to win by 18 minutes today. So, you know, we'll see if that happens. But in the meantime, he's currently being passed into the straight. It's a kilometre-long straight. And Red Fire Tigers was it way before turn 1. As Jaden Polk pits for a set of hards. So, you know, some drivers towards the back saying, you know, these tyres are too worn out. We can't go on like this, can it? There's the McLaren driver exits in P9. I'm gonna check. Was there any wing changes for any of the drivers so far? No, purely tyre ones. Will any other drivers be deciding to utilise the services of the pit lane this lap, or will they be waiting on a little longer? Bit wide from the Sauer, I thought. I'm very tired. Anyway, JJ does not box. Stelios does box. He hasn't sped, so I think that's good for him. But you know, he thinks he can't do more than 7 laps on the medium tyre, so that will be a set of hards bolted on, which, you know, if they're going at this rate, they're probably going to have to do a hard stint for 20-ish laps I mean, knowing this game, that's probably even possible, but, you know. Yeah, currently, the drivers on hards are Red Fire Tiger, Stelios, Naris. There's been a yellow flag. Is it something to do with turbo? I can't tell what the yellow flag was for, but, yeah. Stelios is in 6th after bolting on the hards. Naris is 8th, Jaden is 9th, but Naris is currently making use of Turbo, who is in AI mode, so now Turbo separates 2 of the hard runners, and the 4th hard runner is living the life, you could say, in P2 right now. Obviously the only driver out of this whole cohort to have started on the hards. He always likes an alternate strategy, doesn't he, Red Fire Tiger, as Jaden makes quick use of Turbo before disappearing into the abyss. So we begin lap 9. As Frankie is now in the pit lane, make sure he doesn't speed. More drivers saying, you know, we can't sit on these tyres for any longer. As we got the 2 GFO people here, Sauber and a Haas, 60% battery to just over 60% battery. What can these two conjure up? Will there be an overtake on this massive kilometre-long straight? Up to way before turn 1, Naris makes the move, done up into 5th. As it would have been sick, but Frankie boxed for a set of medium for a hard. So far, Naris hard leader, as Jaden is looking very close and personal with Stelios here. What will we try and do into the braking zone of turn 4? He goes to the inside, and he gets the move done, covers off a move from the Sauber, as he does try again into turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any of the drivers saying they can't do it? No, but here we are, Red Fire Tiger and JJ. Potential fight for P1 here, as a bit of drifting from the top 2 as Naris sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Red has more battery, he's got the more grippy tyres at this stage. However, track position currently belongs to the guy in P1 right now, as Stelios passes Jaden in turn 1. So, you know, that's a little bit of a fight, but Stelios' DRS is going to allow him to push further onwards, as oh, got a bit of a mistake from Uri there. Uri, has he got like a puncture or something? Because that didn't look, from the little snippet I saw, didn't look good. As JJ getting the anchors down for that turn, trying to get it stopped in time. Will he be called into the pit lane on lap 10? He won't, so he's already nearly doubled the stints of some other drivers, but now it won't even matter because Red Fire Tiger has the advantage. He's got the DRS early on, and he claims the lead of the Grand Prix of Mexico. I just to prove my point, yeah. Naris has been on the hards on for 5 laps now, so JJ has been on mediums twice the length as Naris was on hards. So no, JJ has been on mediums twice the amount of time that Naris was on mediums, but you know, each their own. Jaden gets past Stelios. Now the question is, have any of these drivers chosen the alternate strategy? You know, not the alternate strategy, like the harder tyre set, where like it sacrifices a mediums tyre for a hard tyre. So instead of having 2 mediums, you have 2 hards. I don't question me. I'm just a commentator. But yeah, JJ a little bit struggling on those mediums. He has lost 1.3 seconds to Red Fire Tiger. Could he be called in this lap, or is he waiting longer and longer and longer, trying to prolong it as long as possible? judging from that line, yes. So lap 12, and you know, some people doing stints differently to others. As oh, that's a surprise. Jaden, fastest lap of the race, 1:17.626, which was over 4 tenths faster than the previous fastest lap, as Turbo finds himself in the pit lane. Although it's Turbo's AI, not really Turbo. As you know, that's your telemetry for the pit stops. As Vnaris, to be fair to him, the gap's gone down from like 16 down to 9. So the current hard leader, you know, he's cutting the deficit down to the top 4. He's got a McLaren, an orange missile, a hypersonic missile, you might say, behind him. Back into the Faro del Sol. Let's just check up here. So JJ has said these tyres can't do any more, so has Uri. So second and third into the pit lane. That runs Danny into second, and Vnaris into third. So right now only the top 2 haven't done their mandatory pit stops yet, as JJ will be out in 7th place, Uri in 8th. Obviously no worries about P9, because P9 is absolute decades away. As Frankie and Stelios side by side into turn 1. I did miss that, to be fair. Bit of an over-under action. Can Frankie pull the switch back to get alongside? He has got alongside. Can he use the better acceleration into turn 4? Side by side again. Will Frankie be able to do it into turn 4? Bit of argy-bargy, bit of wheel banging, but the Emerald car gets past the Lime car, and we have a pass for P5. So currently Danny, the only one who hasn't boxed off his original set of mediums. I'm presuming those tyres might be pretty much dodging the inevitable grave, really. So will Danny be reeling it into the pit lane? Yes. The tyres have got something heavy, but it's a 10-second penalty. Keep your chin up, Danny, but come on. It is definitely a guaranteed 2-stop this race, so you will have time to serve that 10-second penalty. But the speedometer must have read him a wild long lie. As I didn't even notice Jaden crossed past Vnaris, so now Jaden is the leader on the hard tyre, as those yellow flags again for Danny leaving the pit lane. I'm presuming crossed over the pit line. So now it's just a matter of time when we will see Mercedes in the pit lane. So sit down, viewers of Who Are None. Enjoy your TV dinners and pretend there's people watching. Let's just compare the lap time. So Red just set a 120.8. Jaden on a pretty rough, like a freshy set of hards, goes 117.9. So it's essentially a 2-second gain. Let's go with someone who is like very so 118. So essentially there is pretty much a 2-second gain from everyone on the car in the lead right now, who's done just under half this race on the medium hard tyre, as Danny gets past Uri. Red Bull on V-carb action, and the V-carb is left in the wings of that Red Bull. But they weren't lying in those ads, were they? However, I can feel myself going under. Let's just, while we're here, let's just run over last week's race. Obviously, Red Fire Tiger won his first race of the season. He finally reined in that victory that he's been searching for a decent chunk of the season. With, you know, quite an extraordinary drive in a race that turned quite wet towards the end. You know, if Naris gets past Jaden, he's been coming every little bit closer to the McLaren, and he's now pulled off the overtake. It's like something heavy has just dropped off his shoulders. He can now keep his chin up and push forward. Obviously, second most worn out tyres, obviously the benefit of pitting first out of everyone. But, you know, eventually over time those tyres will fade, and as Nish to commentate, so I'm just going to do this until it looks somewhat cool. Oh, well, we've missed an overtake in the process. Uri passed Danny, and it's another switch between the Red Bull, well, the Red Bull Senior and the Red Bull Junior. You know, we are edging closer to the halfway point. If anyone's at home feeling bored, trust me, you're not the only one. As I feel myself turning into a poltergeist just watching this. Cool. I mean, it's just a thing about the cars, isn't it? They're too big. The engines, albeit, yeah, they're nice and powerful. I mean, they are changing the engines for 2027 again because of the public outcry. Because in Japan, a certain Haas driver absolutely wallied it into the wall because of the overspeed he had on an Alpine. But now Jaden has the overspeed on the Haas, but it won't end in a crash. Instead, it will end up in Jaden in P2. And I've just realised the gap is 6 seconds, but I did just also realise that the gap has been closing between the two green machines in the midfield here. I mean, yeah, we are around the halfway point of the race now. So Red Fire Tiger has done literally half the race on those hards. So, is he trying to do a one-stop? Can he do a one-stop around here? That front left would probably be absolutely screaming for some mercy, though. But I think it's the front left that likes the painful one around here. But we might have an overtake opportunity here. Stelios with the battery is the Sauber machine versus the Aston engine. And Stelios doesn't even make it look like a challenge, and the Sauber is up into P4. As Danny retakes P7, although with the 10-second he will fall back down into P8. So, you know, it's just a case of slowing him and Uri down at this rate with, you know. I have just noticed JJ's in P6, so like he is being slowly slowed down by the drivers. But I doubt he has a care in the world. He has confirmed himself as the champion. So, you know, for him the rest of the season is either A, show off, or B, just do whatever. As Frankie, the gap between Frankie and JJ is quite close. I just want to check. The gap at the top's halved again. However, I don't want to be getting to any judgments too early. Red Fire Tiger, he stays out for lap number 20. So 19 laps on those tyres. They might be begging for mercy, but at this rate, I think a lot of other drivers' tyres are too. So here we are. Could JJ get the overtake done here? It's the Williams versus the Aston Martin. The gap is getting closer, but can JJ get the ever little bit closer? I don't think he can, but Frankie sends it down the inside of Stelios. Stelios locks up to prevent the attack. It's Sauber, Aston, Williams. However, JJ does get a bit of a snap exiting turn 3. Will that be the same order heading into turn 4? Frankie has the DRS open. Will he look to the inside of the Sauber? He won't. So far, the order in 5, 6, and 7 stays the same. Or sorry, even 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to do another lap comparison, but this time I'm going to do the sector comparison. Red Fire Tiger in the middle sector, 1 minute 01.647. Jaden 52.9. So, like, literally 59.2 even, I think. I think a 52.9 is physically impossible. But anyway, it's another lap of staying out for the Williams, as Jaden's in again. So, Jaden didn't even have time to catch up to Red Fire Tiger's overtake because he's in the pits again. This Red Fire Tiger and his Mercedes have insane tyre longevity, but that's not really the case right now. The case right now is we have a fight for P4 here. P3, JJ and Frankie side by side. Will they try and involve Stelios in this? No. Frankie uses Stelios as a brake for JJ. JJ looks to the inside of Stelios, but he's unable to do so. Frankie, whilst using Stelios as a brake, is able to get past him up into P3. So that is Aston, Sauber, Williams, but the Williams is getting past the Sauber. That can he stick the move? He can. So it's Williams. So it's Williams in 4th, Aston in 3rd, and Sauber in 5th. And now JJ will have a fresh look at the Valvoline sponsor of the Aston Martin ahead. As the top 2 have gone quite close. The 5 lap tyre difference isn't doing anything, so Red Fire Tiger, he's holding his own out there, you know. I think he'll box in the coming laps. Yeah, so Red Fire Tiger is in, so is Naris. So right now, unless he boxes, Frankie will take the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. However, I think Stelios is also in, so, you know, here's the fight for the lead, technically. JJ versus Frankie. The old teammates in a foreign land, side by side into turn 1. And JJ reclaims the lead they gained on lap 1 and had pole position of. As you know, people are reshuffling into positions after pit stop procedures number 2. So yeah, it's JJ from Frankie, from Danny, who's got a 10-second penalty to serve, so he will drop further down. Uri will also probably box in the coming laps. Jaden has just boxed. Red Fire Tiger on the mediums, so he will be in pole position to chase down the drivers ahead. Obviously, he's got 14 laps to do on these mediums, so it might be a bit of a chore, but we've seen what he can do with the mediums. Can he replicate the same behaviour on hard? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. He's done the same thing on hards. Can he replicate it on the mediums? There we go. English is not Englishing. Right, JJ. Box or stay out? Stay out for JJ. Frankie is in. surprised a lot of these drivers can't control the tyre wear. As Danny stays out, so the only driver currently to box will be the only driver to box out of the running order onto a set, goes on a set of hards. So I think he chose the medium hard route. So did a lot of drivers. He's not the only one. Red Fire Tiger did keep past Jaden in this process, so he missed that. And now Jaden will have Naris in his mirrors. That's if he is unable to stick with Red Fire Tiger, who has the DRS. So it makes the job ever so harder for the McLaren. Currently sandwiched between the Tyre Whisperer and a bloke who's good on over one lap. It's 8 PM. We are 23 laps into the race. I'm also very proud of the people. There's not been a safety car. As Turbo makes his way into the pit lane for another pit stop, although he is in AI mode, so like, you know, I doubt his result will even get counted. No one. Right. We have a fight here though. 4/10 gap. The battery is quite similar. It all depends on front wing, rear wing simultations here, and not even a challenge. He'll probably even lap Turbo in the process. So, you know, Jaden up into P4, and in the process lapping the V-carb of Turbo Cub 1 sack. Two-thirds of the race completed, and about 3/4 of my sanity gone. On one. Could we see a potential late pit stop from the top three, or will the top three try and tough it out to the end of the race on their current set of tyres? Right now, the answer is they will try and tough it out. However, Danny has a 10-second, so that might opt him against pitting, because that will lose him a hell of a lot of time, which will ultimately drop him up and down into P8. Trying to see if there's going to be any overtakes. Uri's unable to overtake Danny as Red Fire Tiger makes it look so easy. Down into turn 1, around the outside. Well, not even around the outside, just on the outside. And swoops past the helpless McLaren with no drag reduction system. I don't think there'll be a fight back for at least another 40 seconds from the McLaren driver. I generally feel like I'm hallucinating. Bloody hell. Why is it so boring? Now, can we get a fight here? Jaden versus Red Fire Tiger for like the 15th time today. I'm going to switch the broadcast cam before anything can happen. So, closing to the inside. And it's not even a challenge as Uri gets past Danny into turn 1. So, it's 2 overtakes as Red Fire Tiger nearly gets overtaken by Naris there. As a bit of a wibbly wobbly rear end from the Mercedes as Naris has another look into turn 4 and goes around the outside. Red Fire Tiger sends it deep side by side through the turn 4-5 complex. Will Red Fire Tiger try and into turn 6? No, he is too far behind. So in the space of a lap, Red Fire Tiger's fallen from 4th to 6th. Those tyres clearly not doing him an audit. I mean, look, 10 laps to go. One of the top two is definitely going to pit. Maybe even all three of the top three. Anyway, JJ will stay out. Uri will stay out. Danny stays out. And I didn't realise Jaden is already quite close to the Red Bull. It seems the two squabbling behind him have let him pull away. Supposed to be seeing rain towards the end of the session. At this rate, the rain might be late, and we won't be seeing any sort of precipitation on the circuit, as gaps are getting slightly closer, gaps are getting slightly further, gaps are getting slightly closer, gaps are getting slightly further. It's just going to be the same shit every single lap, and I'm just going to lose it and do the Kurt Cobain. Could actually see an overtake, but you'll never guess there'll be an overtake through another stupid straight, as Jaden and Naris have joined the fight for P2 here. Can Danny use the DRS and the 80% battery he's got to claw the gap between the two? Can Jaden do anything to spoil the party of the two Red Bull powered drivers? Bit of contact on the end plate of the McLaren. This is a nice camera view. It's 4 cars for P2. Uri, a bit slushy on the exit. That will allow for a decent run for the Red Bull and the McLaren. The Red Bull getting close. McLaren getting closer. Jaden to the inside. And that is an interesting move, to say the least. Bit of contact squabbling. Naris runs into the back of Danny. And Jaden with an absolutely ambitious send. I don't know what he was trying, to be fair. I guess you're desperate, but, like, you know, that's Al McQuaid's type terrorism. As now he will have a bit of a gap to claw back. However, he's got Red Fire Tiger for company, who has in the midst caught up to this little posse. Has allowed JJ to pull away. Frankie, first one to get a real-time penalty for track limits infringements. The Aston Martin currently sat in P7. The 5 cars for second weaving on the back straight. Who will get who first? Danny, will he be able to go around the outside of Uri here into turn 1? He will, but if Naris tries to do something as well. So Danny into turn 1 takes P2. Uri in P3. Naris in P4. Jaden in P5. You know, will there be any more action into turn 4? We will go back into the cinematic camera. We can see the gap shrinking. Naris goes for around the outside of Uri, and he has been able to do a bit of contact. Uri tries to stick around the outside, but is ultimately unable to. And Jaden to the inside of turn 6. And you know what? That is a more ambitious but sensible send than Uri down into 5th. And it's game on for the podium, but that squad was allowing Danny to pull away on those tyres. However, the tyre age might certainly become a problem further down the line. Lap 30 will begin. 5 out of 6. 5/6 of the race done. No one boxing. I think if you box around this time, you'd probably just be wasting points. As we might have, do we have any chances for overtakes? Turn 1, and he does it even before turn 1. So Naris up into 2nd as Red Fire Tiger gets past Uri for 6th. So in the space of a lap, Uri has gone from 2nd to 6th. He was looking quite comfortable, and it's just all falling away. I mean, 17 laps on hards isn't ideal, but, like, you know, it's, you know, you could be doing better. to try and hold on for P2. I mean, JJ's doing quite fine at the front. Like, yeah, he's just driving. Could this be a season where a driver wins more than 50% of the races? This could actually be, because I can only remember like a handful of races where someone other than JJ won. Regardless, that's not the point right now. More fighting, could we see? Jaden on Danny. No closing, so no overtake. However, Uri closing, but no overtake. Let's just do a quick sector check for JJ. Him, it's a 29-2. For Naris, it's a 28-9. So it's only like a 10th gain in the middle sector. So, you know, despite the obvious tyre disadvantage, it is smooth sailing for the Williams, who is on track to hand Williams their 3rd straight Constructors title. The only way it could not happen at this rate is if Danny won this race and JJ dropped off the podium. So it's essentially a podium in your Constructors Champions, JJ. Don't bottle this. In lap 32 will begin, which means 5 laps to go, and Naris has caught up to the Williams. It is 1.2, half the tyre deficit, but the tyres just clearly don't have an effect on this. As well, any overtake potential, just looking at the time gaps. Uri down into turn 1. Will it be another case of turn 1 sends? No, it won't. He is patient. He is patient on the overtakes. Could this be a potential send to turn 4? As we might need to cut back, because Jaden and Danny, he doesn't go for the overtake, so there's no point cutting away. I don't think there'll be an overtake there as well. As we've got lap 32 or 36, it's gone quite overcast in Mexico. You could see the final dot was rain. Could we be welcomed by Mother Nature herself here on the circuit? Hermanos Rodriguez. This would send the race into utter pandemonium, although I doubt there'd be enough time to bolt intermediate tyres on, so anything but that. But here we go. Naris has been silently grafting, and he is up into P2, 3/10 behind the race leader, and he's got more battery. So, could this be Naris potentially taking the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix here? We'll find out. Lap 33, we are very close to the end here. So Naris now with the DRS-ERS combination into turn 1, way before turn 1 even, and if Naris takes the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, does lock up into turn 1 slightly, as there's yellow flags, and that is Stelios, who has spun on the final corner. I can't tell what's happened, but we'll just go with it. Don't know if there's wing damage, but there's certainly contact there. Jaden and Danny, again, contact. It's getting quite pushy in this mid-pack. I say mid-pack, but, you know, I'm just going to go back here. Naris has pulled a second on JJ. Obviously, yeah, 20 laps is a bit of an extortionate amount for hard tyres, but, you know, Naris has played his cards right. Obviously, the first one to pit out of everyone's pitted on lap 5, and now pitted on lap 22, so currently, he is on track to, I think, claim his first ever EXFL victory in a season where Haas have been literally nowhere. I think they are literally last in the Constructors' Championship, purely because they've had no drivers this whole season. As, Jaden and Danny close again. We've got Uri and Frankie close again as well, so we might need to switch between those two. Jaden does not go for the over. As we go back to Frankie's perspective, will he be going for the inside? A three-way fight between him, Uri, and Red. Uri goes around the outside of Red. Can Frankie replicate the exact same thing? He goes a bit deep. He is able to stick it around the outside. That's Red Fire Tiger. Down into 7th from 5th. As I wasn't able to speak for a second. So, you know, as the gap's 2 seconds now, so yeah, it's quite a steep margin. Oh, Danny, bit of a lockup into the parasol. As now we begin the penultimate lap with Naris. 3 seconds is the gap to P2. And he's just a sitting duck. Danny is able to take second, but with that 10 seconds, it's obviously going to drop back down. Jaden's here now, around the outside of 1. Can he go to the inside of 2? Bit of contact, and that is Jaden ghosting once again, a bit over the curb. And once again, bit of contact involving Jaden and another car. Anyway, down into turn 4. Will Jaden try anything ambitious? He won't. So, you know, it's gone quite feisty here. Frankie, quite close as well. Stelios gone for soft, so obviously he's going for fastest lap attempt here. You know, we're going to have to try and focus on this fight between Jaden and JJ. Obviously, as of right now, one of them is going to finish on the podium. They're both going to finish on the podium because of Danny's 10-second penalty. But I think there's 2 perspectives we need to focus on right now. We will start the final lap with GFO underscore Valentino Naris, part of GFO, whatever it is. He will start the final lap of this Mexican Grand Prix, which has gotten quite grey as of the recent laps, but we will have to focus back on this fight between the McLaren and the Williams, as Jaden's got the battery, he's not got probably battery advantage, he's got DRS to the inside, and before turn 1, once again, it is the McLaren ahead, as Frankie is able to get past Uri, but the 3-second penalty will put him back behind his rival right now, as that gap might be a bit too much for JJ. However, I don't think he'll worry with the person in P2's penalty. He will find himself currently on the podium as the gap has gone up to 4.5 seconds for Naris, so it will be around 6 seconds as the checker flag falls if it carries on like this. Anyway, it's honestly, here we go then, into the stadium section for the 36th and final time. We can hear the fireworks in the background on a melancholy Mexican Grand Prix. We will crown a brand new winner in EXFL, GFO, Valentino Naris, Valentino Rossi alike. He wins the Mexican Grand Prix in style. 4.5 seconds to Danny, who will drop down off the podium. Jaden second, JJ in third, so that means Williams are 3 times Constructors champions. Danny in 4th, Uri in 5th, Frankie in 6th after his 3-second penalty. Red Fire Tiger, where did it all go wrong? Has he got a puncture? No way he's got a puncture. Oh my god, I think he's got a puncture. Anyway, that was the Mexican Grand Prix. Vnaris wins his first ever EXFL race from second. Jaden in second, started fourth. JJ in third, but I doubt he'll care. He's just wrapped up the Constructors' Championship by himself, pretty much. Danny in fourth, valiant effort. Euro in fifth, Frankie in sixth, Red in seventh after leading for a decent chunk of the race. Stelios in eighth, Turbo in ninth, and obviously the best driver the league's ever seen in P10. Anyway, I've been the commentator. I'll try and stop it on 69 minutes just to make it feel nice. But anyway, actually no. I've been your commentator. It's been a pretty boring race until around lap 30, where it always manages to for shit to hit the fan. As I presume half this stream might just get blacklisted for half the stuff I've said. So I've been your commentator. To